Okay, for those of you who aren't familiar with what we're talking about here, my church is every year does a thing for the Christmas store. The naughty ladies do a thing where they make certain stuff and they sell it at the Christmas store, funding the Lee Summit Social Services, the Martin Luther.
Meals.
Sorry.
Meals. One good meal. One good meal.
No, One Good Meal operates out of there, but it probably helps them out some. But there's other things that are funded through Martin Luther. But like Ron was saying there, before COVID hit, I had some jars that were donated to me, and just for kicks and grins, why I brought them in here, and we decided to make jar lids. Want to hand me one of those? And what we did, I had jars like this, and we made lids for them. The naughty ladies take the jars and they put recipes in them and then doctor them up. They'll put ribbons on them and different little things, and then they sell them at the Christmas store. Well, COVID hit, and first one thing and then another, and they didn't actually get them done until not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before that. Well, needless to say that, unfortunately, they didn't make it to the Christmas store. All the ladies in my church ended up buying them before they got to the Christmas store. There was 70 of those jars. They made over $1,500 in 2 hours. So they asked if we would do it again for next year. And I told them, well, I'll bring it up to my guys and we'll see if the guys want to do it again. And I got a rounding agreement from everybody here, so we decided to go ahead and give it a try again. Well, Sunday they brought me the lids for the new jars that they bought for us, and we've got 72 jars to make, jar lids to make, and so that's what I'm here for. I'll show you how I make them. There's probably, as with everything in woodworking, you can ask 5 different woodworkers how to do something and you'll get 6 different answers. So this is the way that I do it. I will start out, I always try to set up with a 4x4 by about a 2-inch blank. If I can figure out how to, there we go. 4x4 by 2-inch blank, and from that blank I can do just about anything with it that I want. I can take and make a small lid like what I've showed you here, or I can make one that's got a little handle on the top, just a small one. Yeah, you can hand me that one. This one here started out like this, where I glued a piece onto it. You notice I didn't drill all the way through. I wanted to be able to, for my Forstner bit to stay centered up. I didn't want it to have to fight trying to stay centered up. So I didn't drill the hole all the way through it. But you'll notice that the hole is in the center. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, you can see it. So I drilled a 1/2-inch hole and I used plenty of glue because that little piece right there has to take all the beating while we're cutting this. So we're...
Do you bond the lids to the rings?
I'm sorry?
Do you bond the lids to the rings so they're fixed?
glue them in.
Do you glue the rings in?
Yeah, we glue the rings in afterwards. We cut them to size, and then glue the rings in.
5 minutes?
And we use a glue that's flexible and yet sturdy. I like that. I think back then we used the E6000 adhesive. It seems to work pretty good. A lot of guys online use the tacky glue. Also, a silicone works well, from what I understand.
Okay,
I just bought some E6000 this evening on my way up here, so we can start putting everything together.
What about a hot
So, just to give you an idea, if you've got a bunch of pieces laying around your shop, it's great for getting rid of small pieces you got laying around your shop. Like here, I've got plywood. I cut these pieces of plywood to make something years ago, and if I could remember what I cut it for, I might make it, but it's been too long ago, guys. So I decided to make a few of them, and people have noticed them up here. I make different shapes, different designs out of it, and Mel's showing them there on the other TV there.
Mike, did you
But,
put the black in those? Was that?
It's amazing what kind of different styles and different designs you can make with plywood just by altering and cutting different angles on them. The whole idea is that you're trying to make each one individual. This particular one here, this one was a solid piece, and it's got enough figure in it that I don't have to worry about it. If it's got figure in it, it's a standalone piece. You don't have to worry about doing anything extra to it. If you've got one that's like this piece of Bradford pear, I will probably do something different with it once I get it cut in, and we'll play with that once I show you how we get the rings set in. We might as well get started here, and I'll show you how we start.
What do you want, Mike?
Yep, thank you. Now what I do, like I say, I take a 4x4x2, I mark the center on one side, and I use a stub drive, whatever you call it. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it round. Next I'll cut my tenon.
You want a face shield, Mike?
Good, thanks. Face it off here, give us a good square edge. Clean. Now, this ring is about the same depth as this part of my Forstner bit. So that's about how deep I want to drill it. Cut it back down to about 500 RPM. 5 to 6. Okay, now I'm going to take my calipers and I'm going to set them to the width of my ring. you've never done this before, you just want to hit it on the one side and match it with the other side without hitting it. Can you see that? Now at this point, back in the day, I used to use, well, let's see, they called this a skew, they called this a negative reg scraper, they call this a chisel, they call this a badan, they call this a lot of different things, believe me. Some things you don't even want to repeat. But a few days ago I tried an easy wood rougher, and I found it easier than anything I've ever tried. And I can take I've taken dome out the center just a little bit myself. See how close we are here. You want to sneak up on it. You want to get it as tight as you can get it. If you get it too loose, it'll have a your glue has to, you have to depend on your glue too much. Now you'll notice there's a little lip right here, so we'll have to cut in for that. We want it flush with the face here. It's just a little bit proud. Yeah, not bad though. I think we can live with that. If you can't get it out, take your jar. Voila. Now from here we can do whatever we want to do with it. And I think turn around this corner off.
used to be.
They just didn't look good to me when I was buying. And it goes down in one hole and then the pin on the other, that's the one I never what it is to get them both lined up.
So like it kind of lets you get started and then you get straight away. And you get to see
How much tool you got there, Mark?
I've got a beating tool, an 1/8" beating tool. Now this is an old Phillips screwdriver that I made a three-point point tool out of, and it works great for finishing up rounding my edges with. Now, just to add some definition, you've all been to Lowe's and Home Depot and you've seen these Formica samples that they've got. Well, that's what I've taken here, and I've taken and sanded the sample finish off of it so that I kept the backing. And what it does is it works great for burning in between these edges. What do you think?
Very nice, looks good.
Looks like you've done it before.
How thick is it on the top?
How thick is it on the top? About 3/16.
So thin.
Yeah. You can make it thicker if you want to. Anybody else got any other ideas they want to come show us?
How many do you want us to make?
72.
Okay. I got a ton of jar lids at home. I'll start making some. Ragging my wife to get rid of them.
You got all summer. If your shop is cold right now, don't think you got to run down there
When are we supposed to
We'd
put
like-
them in?
We'd like to have them in here by August.
in August. Yeah.
We thought we'd have some kind of a contest, maybe, or at least a show and tell of some sort, probably in August, and everybody have them back in here, and then I can deliver them in September.
I will tell you the ones I did last year when he was talking about making it flush. If you make it too deep, depending on the jar they use, it won't screw all the way down, and it'll end up pulling this out. And I did one that way.
At the base of the threads,
Right.
there's a little lip right here.
Right there. So
Oh.
you don't want to go. You don't want it to countersink it too far.
So this is the standard size, like pint jar lid?
Yeah, small mouth.
Yeah, the small one.
Yeah.
What's wrong with
and-
just using epoxy on them?
I'm sorry?
What's wrong with just using epoxy on them?
It doesn't have it, it's not flexible enough.
Okay,
It'll break loose, huh?
okay.
Yes and no.
Depends on how tight you get it in there. I mean, you get it tight enough, the glue's just basically, they're just kind of stabilizing, it's gonna stay.
That'll be fun to do on the side.
The other thing you gotta worry about that I had was when you're turning it around, I got a 100mm chuck, so I chuck mine both ways. I chuck it this way, do this, turn it around. Depending on how soft the wood is and how thin you get this, when you put the chucks in this way, you don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on it, because I cracked one doing that. If you have really soft wood or you get it too thin, so that's something to kind of look out for also.
You need to 3D print some jaws for all those. Soft jaws for all those.
Yeah, I got it.
There you go.
So are those rings smaller than what's on a quart jar?
I think they've got two different sizes. They've got the smaller ones, which is what this one is,
Yeah,
and then the bigger
Wide
size.
mouth.
wide mouth, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to wipe
Yeah.
I've got the bigger size at home, but they sent us the smaller size. Now, if you need to take one home for size, you're more than welcome to take one home with you. I've got some extras here.
In our library display, I think I had some in the display. And one of the ladies who works there, her mother saw them, and she had to have some. So I ended up making jar lids, for the library.
Yeah.
Well, it
Oh,
wasn't for the library, for Gal's mom.
I still have the ladies at church come up and say, "Oh, I've still got that jar sitting in my windowsill. I just look at that every day when I get up in the morning."
I That's cool.
Mike, can you do that with the rings with the replaceable inserts?
I'm sorry?
Can you do that with the rings that have the replaceable inserts?
That's what these are.
That's what these are.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I don't have the insert in mine. Oh, I've got the ring.
Oh,
Yeah, all we're dealing with is the ring itself. The insert is separate.
yeah,
The lid, I guess you call it.
I thought.
These are the rings and these are the
A
lids.
solid one.
I took one, didn't put the lid in it, and it cut a slot in it, made a bank out of it.
That's a cute idea.
And then, I was gonna say, the one I keep meaning to bring, it's the bigger quart jar. And my wife put sewing items in it, and then in the center, she put a pin cushion. So it's set upside down so you can see what's in it. You take it off, you can set it over, put your pins in it, and then you have your tape measure, all your pins, everything in the jar. And that's what, she sells those for her craft business.
You could make swear jars for people too.
Yeah, there's a lot of uses for these.
I like to take a plain wood and dye it, color it, you know, and a friend of ours wanted an orange one. Okay, the yellow, you know, all kinds of bright colors.
You have to make it first, don't you? Before you color it?
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, we'd like to see a variety this time. Last time we did them, they were all pretty much plain. I think you did
No, that,
some.
we had
You did some- you did
pretty
some.
decent variety the
Yeah.
last time.
But I mean, I don't think we had any dyes or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that. We had, you did the plywood ones, I think, last time too.
Sure.
And, some things like that.
The thing about the knobs on them, they're nice, they're cute, you know, and they're decorative. But if you make them very tall, it makes them hard to put a
Right.
jar on the shelf.
Right. You don't on the shelf or even get grip. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's too tall, you can't even get a grip on
Right, can't get grip on it.
Yes, sir.
it. No tall
You're
finials.
talking all, you know,
No big tall finials.
No pointed.
Yeah, no pointed finials.
You know, you make it a spoon, you take the lid off, you spoon.
There you go.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we don't want to see too many tall finials on them.
Now you know you're gonna see some. Just for fun.
Like I say, if you need one, don't have any at home, and need to take one with you, we've got spares here. So that you can take one with you, and then we'll glue them in here once you get them all made.
another thing, and I don't know if we did that last time or not. Did we do some on a Saturday?
Yeah, we can do some on a Saturday.
Well, I said, did we before? I can't remember.
Huh?
Didn't we do some on a Saturday?
No,
before?
we didn't.
I thought
We
that
didn't do any
talked
on a
about it.
Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, if some of you want to get together and come in on a Saturday, we can set up some of the other lays.
Sure.
And, you know, you bring your own tools, we can use the tools there, whatever. And we can do it that way. If anybody's interested, just let us know.
Or if you're having trouble, just give us a holler, and we'll set it up for a Saturday and come in. We can walk you through it.
One caution is when you finish it, you might avoid getting finish in where the ring is gonna go. What I did was I turned the ring that side and set in, and I just sprayed it, you know, I used that ring as a masking so that the glue will stick.
And I also did the sand. I left it rough, so I get the glue something to stick to, you know, get some bite to.
Suggested finish? Spray,
I
lacquer?
don't think it really matters. This is a rough
I've got spray lacquer on a couple of these. I've got CA glue on some of them, on the plywood. I like the CA glue on those because of the porosity of the plywood. I bought some polyurethane. I'll use polyurethane on some. As far out as we are, they say any finish is a food safe finish as long as it's cured. And as far out as we are, there shouldn't be any problem with it curing between now and then.
I don't, unless they use it for something afterwards. The product they put in there is not gonna be,
Unless something happened, what?
so the product they have is in a bag, and that they put in there, the
Yeah, it
dough and stuff, yeah.
shouldn't come in contact with it.